we are doing a meal prep kind of day. I don't really know how far we're gonna get into it, but I want to get into it. You're gonna hear the kids in the background because that's my life. They're my children. So I have my recipe book. I'm gonna start by making I'm gonna do 2 loaves of regular bread, and then I'm probably gonna turn both those loaves into French toast. So let's start with that, and I don't know what I'm gonna get into, but I'm gonna try to get into as much as I can to make my life easier for the week coming. So let's start with the bread. So a good tip for your yeast to keep it fresh for like ever, put your yeast in an airtight container and put it in the freezer, and it'll last you for a long time. So I've had this in there longer than I'd like to admit, and it still rises, so it's still good in my opinion. And I do everything in the one bowl because I ain't got time to wash any other dishes. So for this recipe, it is a recipe for 2 loaves. It requires 2 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, which is 1 packet, or 2 1/4 teaspoon, and then 2 1/4 cup of warm water, and a 1/4 cup of sugar. That's how you get the yeast to activate and start rising. So 1/4 cup of sugar goes right into the bowl. And then I always add the yeast last and mix it together so that the cold or hot water doesn't kill the yeast. I will link this down below because I'm absolutely obsessed with it. You can choose how big, like you can do 1/4, 1/8, a whole teaspoon, and I got the one for the tablespoon too, and it just 10 out of 10 would recommend. I do all-purpose, unbleached flour, great value, nothing special, nothing fancy, just what works for me. You'll need 2 tablespoons of oil and some salt. Okay, so while that is actually, I can probably, this is activated, but I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. I'm gonna do some banana bread because I do have a few frozen bananas in the freezer, so I want to go ahead and knock those out. Let's do the cup of brown sugar. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be packed, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more for love. We're gonna do a teaspoon of vanilla. I add with my heart. Looks good to me. And then, or 2 teaspoons vanilla, and then 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I almost put ground cumin in there. I literally almost grabbed the ground cumin. That would have been nice. Let's see. Thank God for blessing us with the defrost setting on microwaves, because I never take my meat out ahead of time. I just wing it once 5 o'clock hits. I can put it in the microwave for 10, 12 minutes or whatever, and then it's perfectly ready. This is the perfect thing. Now, since this is done rising, we're gonna add, I gotta go back to the recipe. I've done this a million times and I still like to triple check because I feel like bread is easy to jack up, because I have jacked it up quite a few times. All right, salt. Yeah, now it's just salt and flour. So we're gonna add to our heart's content. Yes, I'm reusing the same cup. Leave me alone. 1, 2, 3. Yay! 4, and we're just gonna let her start mixing those 4 cups. She's back there doing her job. She's a heavy biatch, so I'm not trying to move her up here.
So I was actually recording the entire time. Like, I was actually talking the entire time I was recording, but like she was real loud, like real loud. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to do a voiceover. So if it looks like I'm talking, it's because I am talking to you, not to myself, not to my children, but to y'all. So anyways, this is when I'm
You're loud. She's loud.
She's very loud, so if you couldn't understand that, this is where I'm just making the bread. I'm adding my eggs, making it all. I really do recommend, now I'm going to do it from now on, is freezing your bananas before you make banana bread and not just using the fresh bananas, because it just, chef's kiss. No clumps of bananas. And that's what I don't like about banana bread, is the clumpy parts, but no clumps when you use them frozen. So now you know.
So I almost always do a double knead where I knead it before I let it do the first rise, and then knead it again before I let it do the second rise. But this time I'm only doing a single knead because I let it churn for a little bit, or I let it mix for a little bit longer in the KitchenAid, and I don't feel like getting my nails with dough right now. I will once the first knead or the second knead comes up, but not right now. So I'm just coating the bowl, mixing it in, and then I'm gonna let it rise for an hour. How this turned out. It looks like chocolate ice cream, and it blends together significantly better when the bananas are frozen versus when they're not. Okay, so now I'm adding 1.5 cups per loaf. So since I'm doubling it, I'm doing 3 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 2 teaspoons of baking soda. So let's do 1.
Say hi to you.
Hi, baby. You say hi to me on the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 cups of flour.
Flour.
You like flour?
Yes.
2 teaspoons of salt, and then 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Okay, so 2 teaspoons of baking soda. So you can add like walnuts, almonds, whatever you want. We add chocolate chips just because typically I would have added them, but I totally forgot. I would have added them directly to when I had the flour on top, but I forgot. So now I'm just gonna add them into it. It'll be fine. I only do about 1.5 handfuls because it's already sweet as it is. We don't need that much. I'm gonna use parchment paper since as soon as these are done, I'm gonna be ending up putting the bread in it. So sorry if this angle sucks. I don't really know what kind of angle to do for these kind of videos. You know, I'm such a rookie. You guys tell me if you want it to be up close and personal or if you're too close as it is. It hasn't even been recording. What is going on? I literally put it in here. I was having a whole conversation with you about my head being cut off, and like I put this stuff in here. Man, I'm such a rookie, boy. This is why I rarely do tablet time, or like try to not do it very much, because I try to do it because it gives me a break, or at least ideally it would. But if they're not entertained with an activity, then when they're on their tablet, basically they just constantly ask me, Mama help, Mama do this, Mama do that, Mama do this. So it's like not really giving me a break. So I'm like, what's the point? If it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, what's the point? So that's why I don't really like doing tablet time. I know some people know how to get them to be self-sufficient with it, but I'm not there yet. So if you have input, let me know. So once the bread is done rising, I'm gonna knead it and then put it in the bread pans, let it rise, do a second rise, and then see where we go from there. My husband should be waking up from his nap soon since he worked last night, so he sleeps when he gets home until about 1 or 2, and then he'll wake up and spend the day with us until he has to go back to work at 7. He works rotating shifts day and night, if you didn't know, but I need to fill out the rest of this recipe book because I have a lot of blank pages. So I think I'm going to do that now. And if you guys have any recipes, or I love baking. I don't love baking. I really like baking. But I have to be I really enjoy baking when I'm in the mood for it, and when I'm in the mood for it, I like to do a lot. So if you guys have any recipes that are not necessarily good for you, but better for you, better than me buying like snacks. The whole thing is I'm looking to make snacks for the boys that they can eat instead of the store-bought snacks, something that I can pack, something that can store well, either in the freezer, in the pantry, what have you. So I got the banana bread out, looking good. Both loaves are looking good, and then the muffins are up there, they're looking good too. And add some flour, I clean up the surface. I don't punch it down, I just let it come down on its own and deflate like that. And scrape out a little extra. Alright, since we're doing 2 loaves, we're just gonna knead it as one and then split it up into the 2. Since I have nails, I'm gripping it like this with my knuckles because I don't want to get anything in the dough. Obviously I wash my hands, but I think nails are kind of still not the cleanest thing in the world. I have, I should show you, hold on. I think everyone should have, anyone that gets their nails done should have this. You like use it to clean, it's like any type of brush or like a straw cleaner or something like that, just to get in between the nails so you don't miss something. I think that's really important. But anyways, so I'm just gonna knead it together. You don't have to knead it for too long. You just wanna make sure it doesn't have any air bubbles. I grabbed my little thing that I got from Temu and just split it in half. Make sure it's about the same size, doesn't have to be perfect. And then I just knead it separately. And what I like to do is just take my knuckles and push out all the air like that. And then I'll take it, roll it, push it down, take it, roll it, push it down. This is what works for me. Since I started making bread, take it, roll it, push it down. You're just gonna roll it into a loaf. You can hear the air coming out. It like makes a cute little popping sound. So you're making sure that you're getting all of that air out. All right. It's a labor of love, and then you'll pinch the seams. If you do it right, you won't have to pinch too much. Smack it down, smack it down, smack it down, making sure you're getting all of it out. Now it's perfect and ready to go. Matter of fact, since this one seems to be a little bit thicker, I'm gonna put her in the bigger one. This is still kind of hot, so I'm gonna give it a few seconds. And then I'm gonna let them rise. And in like 30 minutes to an hour, they will be ready to pop in the oven. So I'll show you that once it is time.
So this was the morning after we finished all the bread. I had left it in the oven a little too long because my husband had woken up and I got distracted. But, you know, it's just going to be for French toast, so it's not like it has to be super fluffy. It still turned out great, especially for French toast because it was denser. But I made both of the loaves, 2 full loaves of French toast, and I put it in the freezer, and the kids had it for breakfast the next couple of days, and they absolutely love it. So I do this on repeat every week, and it's a staple. So I definitely 10 out of 10 would recommend. And sorry about the crappy audio throughout the entire video. I have gotten, well, it was before this or after this video, I have gotten a microphone that I can attach to my clothing, and that'll like pair to my camera so that you can hear me better, because I know the audio is kind of, well, crap. So hopefully that will be better in the future. But I'm just going to finish up this French toast, and then I will show you how I prep my calendar for the beginning of the month. So keep watching.
Cause we be on a tough love.
So if you can't tell in this video, I literally had just woken up. I haven't done my hair or anything, so my hair is like a complete mess, but you know, bear with me. I'm just cleaning off the month prior and then gonna label everything that has to do with the month of August, and then I will have everything color coordinated so that I know exactly what's going on throughout the month. But anyways, I really appreciate you guys watching the entire video. If you did, hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.
We be on a tough love. Oh, we feeling so high.